It's clear to me that Nio Stock has seen a big influx of money lately, and no, I'm not talking about little investors like you and I'm talking about these large hedge funds, pension funds, and other whales out there that have billions of dollars to invest. The world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater Associates, for example, has been buying a Nio Stock lately, and they're not the only ones. So we need to talk about this. This is going to be kind of a short and sweet video, but I want to discuss these two main topics. First off, who is buying Nio Stock here and how much are they actually putting into Nio Stock? We'll discuss that. And then after that, I want to actually discuss what this could mean for the future of Nio Stock. I've seen this happen before, and there are a few considerations you need to take into account. And guys, if you appreciate any part of this video, any of the research done for this, all I ask, just take 2 seconds, hit that like button, helps me out a ton, helps the channel out a ton, and I truly appreciate it. Oh, and just as a bonus, if you guys want me to make a video covering what to expect from Nio's earnings, which is scheduled for tomorrow, we can get this video to 500 likes in the first 5 hours, I'll make that happen. So without wasting any time here, the first question we're gonna discuss is who is buying Nio Stock and how much of it are they buying? The first one here is Bridgewater Associates, which is the world's largest hedge fund, and they almost doubled their stake in Nio recently. The face of this company, Dalio, is regarded as one of the best investors of all time, so it's no joke when this fund comes out and says they're buying a stock. Now, I'll be 100% honest, it was surprising for me to see that they're buying a Nio here, but essentially what this means is that they are vetting the stock and they're putting money behind it. How much money, you ask? Well, as of the latest filing, they hold over 1.5 million shares of Nio, which is worth over $33 million, according to the filing on November 13th. The thing is, though, you have to make note that this is as of September 30th, so still like a month and a half ago. We don't know if they actually made any moves after that. You don't know if they added more or trimmed their position or missed out on this massive bull run we've seen recently. And guys, you may be thinking, hey, $33 million, that's like peanuts for a massive multi-billion company like this. But when you look at their last filing, they only held around 856,000 shares. So they almost doubled up on their position here, and combined with the share price rise, their position is up many multiples in the span of 1 quarter. Now guys, ironically, the timing for this announcement here of Dalio buying Nio Stock was coincidental for Nio Bulls, because it actually came out the same day that Citron came out bashing this stock, you know, saying it deserves a $25 price target and all of that jazz. So it actually helped Nio Bulls here by offsetting a lot of the selling, because a lot of people saw that Citron report, but then they saw Dalio buying, and then they're like, who do I trust more? I think Dalio has a bit more credibility. You have to remember that typically when these short sellers come out, especially if they're a well-known firm like Citron Research, they can have a big impact on a stock. They can make stocks move multiples of percent in a single day, lose billions of dollars of value. And although we did see some of that in Nio on Friday, I think it could have been a lot worse if we didn't hear that Dalio bought some shares. So this was the first and largest hedge fund buying into the stock, but it wasn't the largest purchaser of Nio Stock. That's right, Bridgewater is not alone in their purchase of Nio. The largest US pension also increased their holdings in Nio Stock recently. The California Public Employees Retirement System, or CalPERS, is the largest public pension in the US by assets. They reportedly increased their position in Nio by around 20% in Q3. Similar to Dalio, they're enjoying their gains in Nio Stock, which is up more than 200% currently for them. Now, if you thought $33 million was a lot, which is what Dalio and Bridgewater spent, take a look at this. This pension fund, as of September 30th, holds 2.3 million Nio shares that is worth close to $50 million. Now again, 50 million may seem like peanuts to these asset managers and pension funds that are worth billions, but it does show confidence that there is potential in Nio, and enough potential that they're willing to dedicate 50 million into it. This tells me although that Nio did have risk, these funds figured that, hey, it's worth the risk here to put some money into Nio, and well, they're up hundreds of percent, so clearly that's panned out well for them. Still want to hear more? Well, I got some more for you. Renaissance Technologies Corp, which is founded by a famous hedge fund manager named James Simon, also increased their Nio position in Q3 by more than 50%. Their position is also doing amazing, up over 300%, and these guys have made a really big bet on Nio, owning nearly 14 million shares, adding up to a value of close to $300 million in Nio. Now, these guys clearly took a calculated risk here on Nio. They put a lot of money in, they bet big on the stock, and it's panned out well for them. But I'm curious to see what they've done after this big run up here that Nio's seen in the last few weeks. We won't find out again until January of next year when the next 13F filings come out. But it will be interesting to see if these funds actually trim back a little bit of their position, took some profits off the table. Maybe they doubled down on it. I don't know, that would be surprising, but it is possible. Or maybe they just held and just, kept enjoying the gains. On top of these big boys, there's also some smaller funds that are buying up Nio shares recently, signaling that this is becoming a popular stock amongst hedge funds and big money. So then we ask ourselves, what does this mean for the future of Nio stock? So when you have hedge funds and Wall Street behind a certain stock, Nio in this example, that typically means that the stock is in favor and big money is betting big on this stock. That usually leads to a lot of money flooding in because they all want exposure, and as a result, the stock price goes higher and higher and higher. What you'll also notice is there's not too much negative information on Nio in the last few months. Last year was a terrible year for the company. Everyone was bearish. It was out of favor. No hedge funds were buying. But, they've turned the corner and now they see the potential in this company. They're buying in. And as a result, you're not seeing a lot of bad news. That Citron report was probably one of the biggest pieces of bad news we've seen in a little while here in Nio stock. So it's clear that when big money is behind something, they can really suppress any sort of negative headlines. And it makes sense. Why would they want to go out there and publicly state that they're against a company that they're invested in? Unless they're short on the position, they want to make money on some put options, hey, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Now you can see in recent weeks how volume in Nio stock has increased dramatically, and this signals to me that there's possibly more hedge funds or big money buying in. The other possibility could be that these existing funds we discussed are increasing their stakes as well. We don't really know right now, but we'll find out soon enough. What is important to note is that all this high volume we're seeing is in this quarter, Q4, so we won't know for sure until January, but guys, I'll be watching closely here to see if this high level of volume is going to continue or if we're going to actually start dying off here, meaning that the big money is probably slowing down their purchases. So now, so far, we've seen the positive side of this, right? Big money has flooded their money in, it's pushing the stock higher. Retail investors like us are enjoying the gains. However, this can also work against us because as soon as there's something negative, as soon as these hedge funds, pension funds, whatever decide, hey, it's not worth the risk anymore, I want to sell, I want to take my profits, I want to be done with the stock, at least for now, that's going to add a lot of selling pressure. And when there's selling pressure, the stock moves lower. When we see crashes in stocks like we saw back in March, for example, a lot of that is driven by hedge funds pulling their money out. It doesn't necessarily mean that they believe that everything's gonna go to zero. It just means that, they gotta really show their customers that they're being smart with their money, that they're trying to maintain those gains, they're trying to take profits when possible. And that just leads to selling, and it's kind of a snowball effect, and then retail investors start panicking and fearing. It just adds to a whole bunch of selling and fear. But smart investors will take advantage of this. They'll wait for those opportunities, and then that's when they start buying in. So right now, you see that, everyone's riding the wave in Nio. Everyone's positive on Nio. But we have a huge catalyst coming up, which is their earnings report, and who knows? They're probably going to report some good numbers. We'll discuss that in another video if you guys want to see that. But if for some reason they don't, that could be a catalyst for some selling. So while things are all rosy right now, everything's moving up, everyone's happy, everyone's making tons of money in this stock, just remember that things can turn like that, and if these big funds decide to sell, you will see a lot of selling pressure in Nio because it's basic economics. If there's more sellers, less buyers, the stock is going to go lower. So just be prepared for that. Have a game plan in place just in case that happens. I know a lot of people use stop losses. I don't typically like to do that because that just forces me to sell out a position. And with these highly volatile stocks, it hits that stop loss and then bounces back up. Happened to me plenty of times before, so I don't use stop losses anymore. But hey, if you're not in Nio for the long term and you want to lock in some profits and make sure you have at least some profits, then a stop loss typically is a good strategy. But guys, regardless, it's impossible to predict where these hedge funds are going, what they're doing, until we see their 13F filings. And unfortunately, that data is delayed for us, so we're not going to know until, like I said, January, if these funds actually bought any more Nio stock in this quarter. All we can do is just look at the indicators, look at things like volume, see that volume is high, so potentially a lot more buyers because the stock is moving higher as well. But that's all guesswork, and that's just my speculation on it. And I'd love to hear what you guys think is happening right now. Do you think these hedge funds are actually taking profits here on Nio, or do you think they're actually doubling down and adding even more to this? And hey, maybe they're telling their other hedge fund buddies, you gotta buy into the stock right now, and maybe that's what we're seeing in Nio. But hey, regardless, the trend right now is clear. It's an uptrend. It's a momentum run here on Nio Stock. So enjoy it, enjoy your gains, and just be careful with your money regardless. Guys, like I said, 500 likes on this video in the first 5 hours, and I will make a video on Nio's earnings, what to expect. And of course, I'll also make a video once they release it on, my thoughts on it and all that kind of stuff. But either way, guys, thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. I truly appreciate it. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.